was visiting my uncle in New York, and it just happened to be Thanksgiving. My first day in America, my uncle took me to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and I was like, this is every day in America, as advertised. Every day they have a party celebrating Garfield. No day has lived up to that day.
Ladies, gentlemen, and motherfucking racist pieces in between. Yo, this is your motherfucking dude. Yo, brah. Yo, spick. Yo, nig. Whatever it is that you want to call me. It's motherfucking SoulPapo again with another episode of the SoulPapo Incognito Podcast. Motherfuckers, what we call that round here? It's that a.k.a. the S.P.i.C Podcast with another motherfucking week of living here in America. This, in fact, is America, where we can do anything, say anything, might get fucked in any which way, because that's just what we motherfucking do. Now, I'm not too sure exactly what everybody's in kind of keeping up with, keeping an eye on, getting distracted by, because I feel like in this, and I would definitely call it, I guess, because it's definitely a first world problem. But in this, if you're blessed enough to be hit with distractions over whatever obstacles or things that you're wanting to accomplish, you probably get lost in the weather of things, which definitely isn't a good thing. But again, it's not necessarily a bad thing because, hey, we living, right? We think we're doing what we're doing. And one of the things that I feel that, I know is so ridiculous and I couldn't possibly try to explain to anyone, not only in this country, but especially outside of the country, and how it is that we function with such fuckery being that of higher intelligence and higher office and higher regard, like, as I'm sure y'all talking about motherfucking the presidency. And what really trips me out, and again, this is the most, I guess, current thing that's been happening this past week. Michael Cohen, who's a lawyer, who was his Mr. Fix-It, is definitely, I don't want to say being indicted, but he definitely pled guilty. All right, so that's not he's indicted. I'd probably use the wrong terminology. Forgive me. He is pleading guilty, which is going to definitely implicate Trump, both in the little money schemes. And this motherfucker's facing 65 years in prison. Now, it would be one thing, because if y'all didn't know, the president has the ability to pardon and pretty much give a motherfucker a get-out-of-jail-free card, or in this case, federal prison. And presidents are known to do that to the homies, right? Or people, in which case, calling in favors, what have you. It's a very, very powerful card to have, because as much as you could think you're motherfucking El Chapo, or who's the other motherfucker from Colombia, I'm forgetting his name, but if you feel like you're able to, have your own prisons or have motherfuckers paid up and greased up so you can live kindly, you're still set apart from your day-to-day. And it's just regardless, however much you can fluff up the bitch, you're still getting fluffed, right? Well, in this regard, or in this case, you would hope that the homie would bail you out. But when you're fucking making enemies and you're dealing against someone who I don't believes in loyalty, because as much as, the cards that he's flickered off and told to fuck off, like apprentices like Omarosa or other people that we've seen to fall off the cabinet, like fucking dominoes, you gotta imagine that this motherfucker has little regard for people in his circle. Kind of like how Kanye was saying, he's like, I love myself, and I thought about killing myself, so how much more likely am I to, kill you instead? Because I love me, and if I'm willing to kill me, who the fuck is you, right? That's my overall impression of this whole thing. And this guy, Michael Cohen, is fighting 5 counts of tax fraud, which I guess you can call a white crime. 1 of bank fraud, 2 counts of violating campaign finance laws, which again, when you're dealing with getting someone into office, the fact that you're violating these things should be like an automatic disqualification, right? However, it started too late. We, 2 years into the game? I forget how many. So can you imagine just the ramifications of what this could be, right? And I guess who, and I'm trying to think because someone who was trying to speak against, because then there's other counts of another 4 to 5 years in prison, which, I mean, obviously that's a long fucking time, but it ain't as much as 65 years. This dude named David Pecker, who I just like, shouting out because his last name being Pecker, who's the owner or CEO, or he's in a part of the American Media Inc., AMI, you might see in the news headlines, and he's behind the company that pushes or publishes the National Enquirer. And for those that don't know, it's a motherfucking tabloid that's been going on for I don't know how many fucking years. I remember being a kid, seeing that bitch in the grocery store, seeing all the latest gossip, nonsense, and possible truths. Because what's the best way to hide the truth than under motherfuckers' eyes? And he has some involvement to the point where right out the tops, when news articles are breaking out, they're saying that he has immunity. That lets you know right there, this motherfucker has enough dirt and enough clout to where he's like, look, I'm gonna participate. I didn't give y'all motherfuckers trouble to begin with, so since we're going right into it, I'm asking for immunity. Can y'all do that? Because I'm gonna participate. Okay, yeah, sure. So that's gonna make him a free man from federal laws. But can you imagine? Because and just so you think I'm not left-leaning, Hillary Clinton, or the Clintons in general, they some bosses, all right? They've been known to make motherfuckers' legs break or wake up dead. How you could wake up dead, I don't know. But I remember this tidbit in one of the scary movies that if you would have went to sleep, you'd wake up dead. But if you did, how you gonna wake up? Anyways, that's not the important part. What I'm trying to say is they get shit done, and motherfuckers can be missing, for fucking with them. So, and mind you, this is supposedly the good guy Democrats. So can you imagine some I don't give a fuck about you racist, I have to say that, but you know what I'm trying to say. When you think a Republican would have a little bit more, or humps to the whole shenanigans of sorts. So I can't imagine the uncertainty that this motherfucker is going to be facing outside of the law. Because honestly, as much as the law can fuck you, everyday life can get you just the same. And not that I'm wishing that, but that's just a scary component. And obviously we know that he's going to be participating. So that's definitely going to throw some, a monkey wrenches of sorts. But I guess what really fucks me up about that, just wondering, well, what are we going to get from this? Obviously, we're building up this case so we can knock down the fucking towers of Babel and fucking see how the dominoes skirt and maybe bring down a couple other things. But what can come from it? And it's kind of scary. If y'all been listening to I'm Black, He's Mexican podcast, that a.k.a. the IBHM podcast, back when it was more than just me talking to myself, we went on about this, and again, y'all can do your Googles about this famous blind, I forget what the fuck she did, Mayan something. She predicted Obama, being the last president, true president. Which, again, the next following elections giving us a celebrity in chief rather than a president in chief. So it makes me wonder, will this bring the downfall of how this shit works? Because honestly, and as an example, and I know you heard every fucking year where they're like, oh, we're going to shut the government down, and y'all just going to have to, keep running for whatever fuck long it takes us to come to an agreement or come back from vacation, because that's normally how they handle things. It's just such a big fuck you to the people, but, whatevs. Now, I'm just wondering, because the same regard, me, my 9 to 5, there's already structure, there's already rules, there's already all these things in place to where does your supervisor manager really need to be there? I mean, if you doing what you're supposed to be doing and it's business as usual, why the fuck would we need to pay someone these big bucks, just to oversee, and spend all this shit into, which I'm sure is a higher cap of salary, when you got the lower minions getting shit done on its own. I mean, obviously, if you pay these minions a little bit more, we can make sure to, take a little extra leap of responsibility. But why have the fat cats that ain't really doing shit other than micromanaging, maybe, when you can just get rid of them? So in that same regard, I wonder if we would hit that plateau ever and just be like, look, we know what works, right? Yeah, we can govern ourselves as people. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well then, fuck all these politicians. Fuck all these people milking shit and fucking things up for everybody else. Let's spread the wealth and, keep things moving. Now you might think, oh, well, that sounds like some communistic shit. Well, I mean, label it what you will, but why not cut out the fat, when you can just have the lean meat working for itself? Well, anyways, in that same regard, and it's trippy because her name, and this sounds like a total fucking hacker's, I don't know what to call it. Her name is Reality Winner, and she apparently was a national security leaker, and this bitch is getting 5 years, which, again, I guess, 5 years ain't too much for, being considered a traitor, but think about this, though. They put your ass in jail. Of course, they gonna fucking pay off some fucking big butch dyke to fucking shank you over a couple top ramens. You know what I'm saying? To get it through her sentence. Like, it's dangerous. Like, the motherfucker, and I don't give no two shits about him, the Alam Magazar fucker who was assaulting and raping all the, little gymnastics chicks, he got moved from a prison out here in Arizona. I think it was in Tucson, because he got assaulted on sight. Like, motherfuckers are ready to fuck you up, not only because you was hurting the little girls, but because, fuck you, right? And so I can just imagine, how much of how dangerous it could be for those that, again, have wronged the country, wronged whatever. And mind you, what she had leaked, and y'all can do Googles, her name is legit Reality Winner, which I feel is so ironic because she just won at the reality of how life is, and look what she got. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping someone rescues her. I'm hoping, for some blessings. I'm hoping that she can hopefully find a niche, survive, and hopefully, be used for some good once she serves the reality of her repercussions. And I don't know. Like I said, people try to label her a traitor, but she just leaked shit about the shit with Russia. The fact that we knew about that shit with Russia. The fact that whatever elbows or gears, bellies, whatever how the saying goes, that were being greased, it was all for an agenda. And again, who knows? We don't know what this shit's stacking up against and how it's creating this fucking tiff for this tidal wave just to come crashing down to clear shit away. I mean, I couldn't possibly try to contemplate understanding what the purpose of it all was. But you best fucking believe that it has to be for a fucking purpose, for a reason. Just how in life we feel like, oh, well, something may not be shit, or it's not adding up to shit, or it doesn't seem like shit. No, it's for a fucking reason. And as small as the pawn is to the chess game, I mean, it's there for a motherfucking reason. But before I get up the subject, though, of all this Trump bullshit, because again, there's always something new with this, always some sort of fuckery that's going to tickle me enough to be like, all right, let's talk about this shit. Because I feel like as much as we do talk about it, it's so damn exhausting. It's such a fucking loop-de-loop infinity sign going nowhere. People just say, fuck it, move on to the next issue, or distraction, or what have you. And one of the things that pissed me off, Mr. Former Mayor, Rudy Giuliani, now current president, lawyer, or some shit, I definitely know that he's trying to start some clickbait bullshit with this, because he was saying that there's going to be shockwaves and beliefs of Americans that would revolt if, Trump would get impeached. And that's such bullshit. But on top of it being bullshit, I want people to understand that when people say phrases like this, or when things get passed on like this, it's like a tidal wave. So if you are big enough and you can create a wave or say something in such fuckery that people start saying something, and you gotta understand that when people start saying something, we do it in such a lazy way. We're gonna give you all the fluff, and or just the filler, the main distraction of it. And what that's going to do is cause more people to say something dumber, to say something dumber, to say something more and more just chiseled of that one thing, not giving you the full scoop of it or any opinions. Because mind you, in the realm of news or advertisement or entertainment in general, We want to take your time and hopefully your dollars, depending on how it is and how their monetary value goes. So just, it just is exhausting. It's exhausting. Because again, I don't know where this is going. I just know that if you can create the headlines, you can control the media. If you can control the media, you can hopefully sway where the people go. Because unfortunately, and I'm not saying this is you, because if you're listening to me, then you definitely on some different shit. People are fucking sheep. The majority of the easily influenced and conformists of sorts, they're sheep. You know, it's the whole reason why in the Bible they talk about how we gotta be a shepherd of men or women, whatever, people, right? Humanity. We gotta try to be as righteous and as clean and as pure as possible so that we're not corrupt and ridden by, whatever, self-pleasure or greed that, again, allows us to stray in the ways that we want to without being considerate of others. And I know I'm not playing victim. I'm, guilty of it as well sometimes. So that's why this is my only retort to try to hopefully uplift or change or amplify or enlighten or whatever, aggravate, so you could think something differently, or you could think on your own fucking regard, whether you disagree with the shit I gotta say or you're totally with it. As long as you're thinking, as long as hopefully you can use your celebrity or power or what have you to fucking do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Ronda Rousey. I haven't heard of her in a minute, even though I know she's wrestling. One of my favorite sayings of hers, she's like, don't be a do-nothing bitch. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta be a female dog to be a bitch. Right, but one thing that doesn't deserve any will-hoons, so it might have been insensitive of me. Maybe I did it on purpose. Maybe I don't give no fucks. But Molly Tibbetts, I'm pretty sure y'all heard of her. She's a chick from Brooklyn, Iowa, who was, running one night 5 weeks ago and just turned up missing. And they went searching for her, and it kind of became the kind of big deal where I'm just like, why is this getting so much media attention? What is it that they know that they're building up that they're not really saying? Because the same issue had happened to a black girl in Arizona, here I think in Phoenix, and legit it could have been because she was black, but we heard about it maybe 1 or 2 days, very linear note-like mention, and then that was it. Who the fuck knows? Whoever found that bitch's killer, who the fuck knows if there might have been any other ones, in a string of things like that. And the unfortunate truth, and again, I'm just reporting it to you, if it's a white woman, we gonna pay some extra attention. We gonna get the Klansmen out here. We gonna search for this bitch. We're gonna search high and low, interview every motherfucker. And what was so crazy is that the way that the evidence was stacking up, it seemed so suspicious. Because supposedly, the daughter had called the dad like 2 or 3 times to get his attention. And he, coincidentally, was out in a break, which I'm not too sure what the fuck that meant, a break from family life, a break from work, a vacation by fuck himself, I don't know, on a break in California for a few days. Okay, well, he wasn't at the scene of a crime. I guess we can't consider him a suspect, but that's a little weird because he's the one that got in the calls. But, again, it could have been something, could have been nothing. He thought it could have been nothing, but if it was, why the fuck would she call him, right? Turns out they're very best friends. They just went hiking the November 4. All this lore. Now, the boyfriend, who she was staying at the house of, because she was house sitting, I guess they call it, and he was out of town on business. I don't know what the fucking 20-year-old is kind of business has traveling, but that's where he was along with his brother. So there should have been no men at the house, which then leads people to believe, well, there had to have been someone that she knew or she trusted in order for there not to be any sign of struggle or what have you, right? Well, wouldn't you fucking know? And again, this is the most shameful and embarrassing part as far as someone, I guess, somewhat close to the culture, even though I rebuke it all. It was an illegal immigrant who apparently led officials to the body. So, of course, if you know where the fucking body is, we're going to put hot dollar that you're the one who done it. Maybe, I don't fucking know. They haven't released any statements as to what could have been the cause or the reason, or if they raped her. Which, I mean, not to say that you had to have rape with murder, but if you're gonna have someone as pretty as that and they get, you know what I'm saying, murdered, you would think that they had, you know, a good time with her. I know it sounds terrible. Forgive me. We don't need to have these details, but I'm fucking curious about it. Especially since Trump likes to call immigrants fucking rapists and thieves and murderers. And again, this couldn't have come at a perfect time. So you know Fox News had a fucking field day with it. An ex-Blaze correspondent, now blonde cunt personality for the Fox organization, Tommy Loren, she was just going on, which, mind you, rightfully so. She might be slow, I don't know. But she was, you know, warning women, daughters, wives, whatever, that you need to be careful because it can happen to anyone. And this is where she would have gotten some Academy Award winning points. Because Iowa, you know, even though the only thing I think of when I think Iowa, besides like probably satanic band members of Slipknot, you know, think, you know, Middle America. So of course, if it's Middle America, that's the heart, right? The heart's not in the fucking middle, but that's the, you know, correlation that we make. This being the heart of America, if it can happen there, then of course it can happen anywhere, and no fucking shit. Yeah, everything is dangerous. Ain't nothing fucking safe. You could be in an insane asylum with fucking padded walls, motherfucker. You're there to face insanity. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I'm getting lost because, again, this was a valid point, but I'm just like, man, motherfucker, out of all. I mean, I know everybody's felt this at one certain point. You get the Columbine killers and every other mass shootings in America and be like, oh shit, this is a bad look for white people. But again, you can then try to blame it on something else because you use the word terrorism, you think Middle East. Or the DC sniper, oh shit, he was Nigerian. Oh, brothers get a bad rap on top of being super thugs. Which, oh my God, that breaks my heart just to fucking say. And then, again, you get some motherfucking illegals, you know what I'm saying, cock throbbing, thirsty for some snatch, seeing a pretty white girl, you know, running around cornfields, you know. And one of the interesting things that came from all this, because again, right away we're gonna get into it being about illegal immigration, which, mind you, that can very well be a fucking problem. And especially, you know, they have motherfuckers out there working the fields, and it's cheaper to pay a fucking beaner than it is, you know, a fucking hard, I don't know, a full-blooded American, you know, because they don't want to fucking do their job. Not for that fucking pay. So, I mean, how can you argue against someone willing to do it cheaper? It's a market demand, and, you know, how many people there is to actually do the motherfucking work. Bible said, you know, the work is plentiful, but, you know, the workers are few. And I don't doubt that at all, because my own, you know, first world problems of laziness come into effect at the worst fucking times. And I'll go into that a little bit later. But again, back to this shit, it pissed me off. I'm thinking, fuck, you know, as if there wasn't enough heat already, if I want to keep motherfucking Mexicans out this bitch, or just motherfuckers in general, which I have another story I'll go into. But it messes me up that, again, this, you know, the cat, and mind you, I don't know the fucking story. The only thing that really commented on the kid is that they're the same age, so I'm guessing they knew each other. So regardless of them being fucking illegal, they must have, you know, small town, you know, motherfuckers. So again, there's some kind of trust there. But they said that when he was at work, he acted totally nonchalant. Nothing suspicious or odd about it, which again makes me wonder, is this motherfucker being set up? Is this just a ploy? Mind you, I can't think conspiracy every fucking time, but I'm just wondering, why did they keep this shit stringing along the way they did? Now, one of the things that kept it ringing in my mind, which again could have been just marketing genius, is that her name being Molly Tibbetts, and the whole point or first initial evidence was her missing Fitbit, which for y'all that ain't fat fucks don't know, it's like a little wrist thing, like a bracelet that can monitor your heart, sometimes GPS, you know, just whatever, counting steps, that's what it does. And so they found that being, of course, not having the technology necessary to find her, keep track of her, I mean, it all led to shit, and obviously led to this arrest. But I almost feel like there's just something more behind it that, again, was just a ploy. And regardless if someone's guilty of it, you know, may they be punished. But I wish they would give us more information, and I wish and I hope this isn't just a blatant, excuse to want to be more strict on, immigrants. Which, mind you, there should be something stronger of a structure, but there shouldn't be an attack on all immigrants. But definitely, first fucking signs, get their ass fucking out of here. And luckily, I think it was by a publication called Salon, they go into, the wake of her death and how they don't want it to be a blame against immigrants for murder, which again, it's a tough one, but it's about blaming men in general. As a man, of course, I'm just like, oh shit, son, I can't miss the fucking bullet. But at that same time, I shouldn't. And if there's one thing that I think is something, I don't know if it's in the culture, I don't know if it's just in our intuitions and our instincts, or how we were from caveman days, hitting the bitch over the fucking head, throwing her over our shoulders and taking her to our cave to do what haves you. I wonder if that's something to do with it. Obviously, again, that men have no right. No one has any right to take anyone from anyone that aren't, that don't count it consensual. And I'm gonna get into some Harvey Weinstein shit later, because there's definitely some breakthroughs that I feel like everybody needs to hear, regardless of it kind of throwing some monkey wrenches. And I don't want to promote or save the bad guys. That's not the case at all. But unfortunately, in the most literal sense, sometimes there are some bad guys. And I know that I've been to the points where I expect so much, and it goes beyond sense of selfishness, and it definitely goes into realms, and this is the reason why I think millennials get such a bad rap, or young people in general, for being not only self-centered, but just to be expecting so much, to feel like they're so deserving of certain things. And I feel like that kind of behavior, that shit stems from childhood. Because if you think about it, baby cries, give it a fucking bottle, right? If they're not eating, you check the pamper. If not that, then you go through all these steps just to shut them up. So it creates a behavior where we're just, again, not only self-centered, but we just are, we just expect, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying my train of thought into what fucking word that is. That's, simplifies that best. But because of that, again, we just grow up to believe that, we get what we want. That's not the case. You have to be so, and I get so mad, and I've talked about stories before, like the fucker from Texas, where, they're so safeguarded, they're so affluent. Do you Googles on that word? It's a fucked up word, affluent. That they can do no wrong because they know no better. Like, truly ignorance being bliss. And obviously this fucking being a loophole of sorts for it. But and I can't say it without, incriminating myself. But I know, like, if I go out with someone, if I meet with someone, I'm talking about the, opposite sex here, I expect, to have what I want. I don't take no lightly, or, it doesn't sit well, obviously, right? Who the fuck wants to hear no? So I feel like because of that, it creates not only false expectations, but also kind of creates a tiff to where you really need to have self-control in order to understand you cannot have this. Chill the fuck out, step the fuck back, and, disconnect yourself, if needed. And not disconnect yourself to where you give no fucks about outcomes, cause and effects, but to remove yourself from the situation, because this isn't for you. You cannot win this. You, again, need to fall back, sit all the way down if necessary. And I feel because of that, which again is no excuse, but because I know that shit to be real, all the more am I scared for women, for meek people in general, because I don't know what it is about some folks who, if not, again, exemplifying weakness or meekness, as I try to use, they just can give an aura to where anyone that, and I'm gonna call it what it is, someone who's more on the evil side is gonna say, well, fuck your feelings. I'm stronger, I'm more powerful, I'm gonna get away with this, or what have you. And they do their deed. And it's that kind of not only thinking and, just a way of believing to where when reality or justice or karma or what have you never gives you that slap back, it creates a bigger avalanche of a monster. And unfortunately, it's shit like that gets people to believe and act as they do, to where unfortunateness like this can happen. So then when bad shit happens, we're looking at all the details, all the, circumstantial evidence, and we attack those things. Again, sometimes for our own agenda, especially if you're leading a cause, it's easy to want to jump on that bandwagon. Same like with, and again, I'm not getting on entertainment shit yet, but like I was talking about this earlier, about Lady Gaga. She's this born this way, free-spirited, you would think she's a, sponsor of the LGBTQ and all this whatnot, but no. She don't give no fucks about it. She saw a market. She aimed for it. Of course, her being as free and artistic as she is, it was able to, apply to that sort of movement. And motherfuckers thought she was, a representative. When really, no, I'm just being an artist and, whatever label. I don't know if she's still Interscope or not. I'm like, we're going to capitalize off this because that's a big market. We I don't know if you remember all that hoopla about some fucking baker that had to go to Supreme Court to, fight over not wanting to make a gay couple a cake, when really in reality thinking, well, shit, the gays love to spend money. They want to be flamboyant. They want to sparkle. They want to dance. Or I'm using stereotypes here, but, you would think if they're spenders as a business, be fucking smart and have them spend with you, right? So in that same case, people are going to use whatever they can for that agenda, for their cause, for their movement. And we see people jump and bandwagon all the fucking time. And again, we can't expect for this not to be another opportunity of that. But I hope that when you see this shit, that you recognize it and that you don't become just, again, another pawn of it. Look at the deeper side of things. Understand all the moving parts. And please believe, I don't claim to know everything because I know there's a lot of parts that are moving that I can't fucking see. But the things that I can aggravate me, piss me off, and I want to make sure that you motherfuckers know about it. Again, y'all can form your own decision. Y'all can do your Googles, which I don't know at what point we're going to have to stop trusting that too, because I know that shit has its own filter. And, not everyone's Google homepage is the same as everyone else's. So with that, that makes truth so subjective, and what was it that Einstein said about reality, where everything being, everything's relative. Yeah, everything's true. It is what you make it to be. So just be strong in your it, and may not stop you, but allow you to flourish. Alright, so let's switch it up here to some motherfucking entertainment news, because anytime shit gets too hectic, too real, too raw, let's just ignore all that shit. But I guess in a way, to kind of make it much of a easier segue, even though I probably could have started with some of the clips from it, I recently saw the movie The Black Klansman. If you don't know, it is a Spike Lee joint. It is about the first brother to be part of the Colorado police force. He ended up doing some detective work, apparently infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan in that chapter, somehow, got initiated, and, the rest y'all can do your Googles on. Now, being a fan of Spike Lee, of the culture, of course I wanted to see it. Besides my dude Adam Driver, playing the resident Jew in it, I wanted to check it out, see what it's about. It looked interesting. It looked somewhat black exploitational, and then apparently it had a big deal ending, which I don't want to spoil, but at the same time, the movie in itself, mind you, I'm a big Spike Lee fan. From Do the Right Thing, fuck, even to Chirac, which people hated on a lot, but hey, it was a fucking Greek tragedy. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened, that they made the fuckboy mistake of casting Nick Cannon as the main protagonist, antagonist, whatever the fuck he was in there. That, again, just seemed real questionable. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for whatever reason, anytime I see Richard Gere in a movie, which I haven't seen him in years, I just don't believe him. There's just something about the guy I don't fucking like. Now, whether being from a realm of comedy or sheer haterism, the fact that he impregnated the queen of R&B, well, yeah, we'll say that, Mariah Carey, Nick Cannon, I feel some kind of way about him. Just, I don't believe his ass. I don't. I love that when the Eminem beef came about, he tried to, quote some scripture. I love that. But again, I don't believe him. So again, whatever. That's just my personal opinion on what I thought of, him in the movie. But whatever, right? It's a fucking movie. It's supposed to be escapism. Well, Spike Lee does that while at the same time spoofing you some reality. Movie actually starts with him saying, and I don't like the way he uses ebonics, because the same way that Tyler Perry, if you are the type to feel like Tyler Perry sets black people back, in the same case, he likes to keep the juke and jive of shit in there. But whatever, if you have the culture, you appreciate it. But if not, you kind of feel like it kind of seems forced. He started off the movie with saying this is some faux real shit. Spelling faux in all the ways you would imagine. And then it goes on with Alec Baldwin just kind of giving some racist propaganda. It almost seemed as if it was like a love letter saying that all police ain't bad. Now, this is a man who, again, has always been on some Black Panther-ish, who recently, in the state of New York, created some sort of pact about trying to shed light, showing that not all cops are the bad guys. And in the movie, there was like one obvious bad cop that, again, was, I'm pretty sure, to tell that even though there's one rotten egg, that doesn't rotten up the rest of them. But caveat to that is you have some rotten shit, it's going to definitely pollute the rest of shits in the batch. So again, you can't blame it all over one, which I guess was the whole point. But it almost seemed like they're really catering to police. Which, mind you, his pack was with the New York police. So the fact that he's making a story about Colorado, you can't really say, I don't know. There's a lot of unbelievable things. Mind you, it is a movie. You can't expect 100% accuracy, especially anytime you see something that's based on a true story. It can be based on it, but please believe you're going to get some filler. It was just the filler that I felt was uncomfortable and that he settled for. Now, I told you I work for the government, and one thing that I noticed was some judges. Mind you, judges are supposed to be the end-all, be-all, damn near alpha and omegas blessed upon by God. Now, a lot of times, especially since judges come with, from attorney backgrounds, they have to look out for their attorney friends. At least that's what it seems like sometimes. Just how a cop, no matter if a cop does some fuck shit, that's your family, you protect the cop, right? Whether they're piece of shit or not, you look after your own. So in the same way, I've noticed that, with judges who, unfortunately, instead of being there for the people, can be there for the comrades, people who, who went through the same struggles he did. And how could we not, right? How could we not look eye to eye or respect someone who comes from our certain background and give them a little bit of leeway? Biased, yes, but, totally understandable. Anyways, in this movie, it just seemed like there's a lot of those unforgiving aspects to where I feel like a little bit of artistry was lost to accommodate, and one thing that I never, and black people I'm talking to y'all, especially my brother Arizona Verse, who I haven't got to talk to legitly for a good while, but, as a people, just how I guess I should be, setting up for more Latinos out there, which because I really don't give too many fucks, but, you'd figure for your culture, you would stand up for certain things, assuming you're not American washed. I don't want to say whitewashed, I'll say American washed, to where you forget that. You forget the spices that made you, what you is. And when I saw Chirac, it literally was there for a fucking week in theaters. And I remember that bitch was dead. And which, again, leads me to believe, all right, Spike Lee doesn't make commercial joints. It's a Spike Lee joint, but it ain't a joint for everybody. So, again, it doesn't last that long, doesn't get that many theaters, and obviously you got to invest into how many theaters they get into, which is why motherfucking movies like Marvel Avengers will get 20 fucking screens in a theater with only 24, and they're rotating every half hour. One thing I was very surprised by is that he had a few theaters. He had a couple screens, I should say, at a few theaters. I didn't think would have carried this. And mind you, I only saw it once, but in the theater I went to, it wasn't a brother, a sister in sight, which led me to believe, maybe they saw it during the premiere week, because I saw it the week after. Because over some, same bullshit that popped off and I have no air conditioning. Y'all can go back to the previous episodes to find out. And whatever, maybe it's that, right? But then it could have also been the fact that people, most common folk, don't want to have to deal with political shit when they're trying to escape. They might want to see commonalities. They might want to see something that references them, but they don't want to see the hardships, which at the very end, again, not to spoil nothing, because y'all should watch it, but there's such a heavy, unforgivingly not very subtle point of the Trump administration and the brother, the Duke, whatever the fuck, magic wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, which, if y'all remember, when the campaigns and shit were going, that was part of the news articles, that the Duke, which again is like the president of some sorts of, the KKK, he was touting, vote for Bush. Not Bush, I'm sorry, vote for Trump. So people were upset, saying, Trump, is this your dude? Is this your guy? And he would say no, but he wouldn't disband him, or he wouldn't say that's not my guy. He just wouldn't acknowledge it, give a political spin and change the subject, but never denounce him or say, no, I don't stand for what he represents. Fuck no. Motherfuckers want every vote, right? Especially every hacked vote. So, he's not. So that very essence in itself lets you know there's some commonality, there's some kind of friendship, some kind of kinship, whatever the fuck. Especially, man, mind you this, because I think about, and I forget what his name was. He was a big time owner in the NBA. I forgot what team he owned. He had a little Asian bitch, on the side, and he would get upset if she brought, a black boyfriend or whatever. Mind you, this is a side bitch. He has no right to tell this bitch who dicks her down when he ain't. And he got mad about her bringing nigga with a hard R to his games, when it's them very niggas with the hard R's that play and that make games interesting as they is. So again, catch-22, but at the same point, just to show you, no matter how nice or easygoing or cool or hip, this elder white rich person is, they gonna hate on a nigga or anything else if it conflicts or takes away with what apparently to them is theirs. So again, not to say that Trump would be a racist. We've heard about him using hard R's through Omarosa, who again is only talking shit because she got cut, from the bandwagon. Like, it just goes to show that there has to be, again, the hatred is there, has to be there. And the fact that he's back, or he was backed by this person, just lets you know how dark they can be and how unapologetic they are, and how it's so easy to just, scoot your hands in little scoot motion to disregard something that can mean so fucking much. Shows how much fuckers don't give a shit. And again, I wasn't trying to keep it political as I eased into entertainment, but again, saw this movie. I recommend you watching it just for the love of it. You may not dig exactly how corny some bits would be, or lack of diversity in acting that the lead guy showed when he tried to make a mixture. Because mind you, black cop, talk super white. That's why he was able to infiltrate the KKK through fucking using the phone. But yet, when he would go like these political rallies, he wouldn't get all jive. He talked the same way. So I couldn't tell if that was him just still being him, or if that was lack of him being able to actually, act like a brother, for lack of a better word, or, talk all that jive, whatever. I don't know. It was chemically imbalanced. A lot of it seemed insincere. And, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird, but it was something worth watching. Because you can imagine what was real, what was fake, what was moved around. But again, that being the sake of entertainment. And, it not... I don't know. I couldn't tell if Spike Lee was in bed with some of these people because he finally got, maybe because he took it easy, on certain establishments. Said, all right, we'll give you more theaters. I don't know if that's going to equate to more sales. It's funny because a white coworker, his sister had went to go see this theater. Mind you, I'm a Utah Mormon type, and she almost wanted to walk out at the end. That's how powerful the ending is. Because it just brings to you the realities that we're living in. The fact that this is going on. And then the fact again that what the fuck have we done about it? What can we do about it? And mind you, that's what the whole beginning part was. Because hopefully that's going to be the chisel that breaks the iceberg. And we'll get into science and fucking ice melting later on in the show. But yeah, that was really fucking gnarly to see. And I felt like that was real. And I guess to transition into other black power movements, Miss fucking bitch ass Nicki Minaj thinks she's a new Harriet Tubman, which pissed me the fuck off because I was already hearing all this beef about, the VMAs and how she was hating on Travis Scott. And I can't stand looking at Travis Scott, but I can't lie, his music goes. The latest shit called Maniac World or some bullshit where it looks like some kind of amusement park with his face on it. Didn't like it. It bumps, it thumps, it sounds like a Travis Scott joint. I was impressed by the, I forget what the lead single was, where it talks about You Ain't God. Or something about God. And I dug that track just because it was true, you know what I'm saying? Like, quit acting like you're God. That ain't your job, whatever. As simple as it was of a statement, like it was dope. Of course, he used his baby mama, Kylie Jenner, and that bitch. And that was part of one of the beefs was because Nicki Minaj was hating her album, which she apparently released secretly and was hoping that she could have pulled up Beyonce, right? Just giving all this shit. I just can't stand that bitch right at the top. So I'm going to sound biased, and I'm definitely not going to defend her in this case. But because of her hating, getting mad that Kylie Jenner is the reason why, his sales or streams had done so good, bitch, you released something by surprise. So how do you expect to have marketing done when you don't fucking market? Bitch, you're not that powerful. You're not Beyonce to think that shit's just gonna pop off for you like that. Get the fuck out of here. Mind you, whether or not it was a commercially crafted idea to impregnate one of the biggest publicity machines, outlets in the world, how could you not, again, use that resource, use that fucking millions of viewerships for her, again, to play one of your songs in the background? Because obviously if you're into this bitch, you know her life. If you know her life, you know who her baby daddy is. So it's like that's just marketing doing its own fucking, that's just it doing its own job right there. Because again, that's his investment, that's his blessing, that's his curse, whatever you want to call it. That's part of it. So how you gonna get mad that that's his niche now, and you thinking you can just drop something and expect the same fucking results when he slowly but surely dropping single after single, trying to, garner attention or, whatever, build up buzz. Like, that's just how shit works. So the fact that she was throwing shade over them, that they had to separate them to make sure that, shit didn't pop off anymore. It's like, bitch. And I laugh too because, you know what I'm saying? I love me a voluptuous woman. There ain't no doubt about it. That bitch is disgusting to me. Not only because her face reminds me of an ex, but just everything else. I don't dig it. I don't dig the fakeness. I remember seeing her when she was on her freestyle, coming out of Brooklyn or Bronx or whatever fucking Queens shit days, where she looked like a roundaway hoe. And she was nowhere near as polished as she is now. Mind you, I know that comes with money, I know that comes with notoriety, whatever, what have you. I don't give a fuck. But it's fake. So, and mind you, not to say that, I can't appreciate a fake bitch, because y'all fake bitches serve your purposes. Like, I don't like just the expectancy that she has. And for her to think because she's somewhat major in the female rap game that doesn't have very many players to begin with. So how is it not difficult to fucking stand tall amongst them? And mind you, she had pushes and the Young Money shits is what kind of put her there from notoriety and acceptance. But like, the fact that you gonna call yourself a Harriet Tubman just because you have a wide old fucking cottage cheese ass, which she was not ashamed to show off, because you figure brothers gonna be like, oh, that look good. No, that shit look disturbing. And mind you, that's not a apply against Big Win, but that's her thinking that shit is gonna look cute. You know what I'm saying? It didn't. I'm sorry. And it upset me that, you know what I'm saying, she's gonna make that claim. Maybe that was, advice given to her by Kanye. Make a big fucking ridiculous correlation to yourself, and it'll garner some media attention. I'm sure it fucking did. It got me to talk about it. At the same time, just me shitting on her, not giving a fuck about her, giving less fucks about her. And usually I'll listen to an album just so I can talk shit about it. I don't even want to listen to this shit. I truly, truly don't. Every time I fucking hear her, I'm just hearing fake shit. Mind you, same thing can be said about Iggy Azalea, and she's been real thirsty, shaking her ass, trying to, get whatever she can out of it. And, God bless her, right? White woman. But it's not something that, I kind of want to even entertain. Again, or you might put up with it because the image might be prettier. But besides that, I'm like, nah, I'm good. And I laughed at Chance the Rapper was, there to defend her. And, as people should, especially, I guess, people that know her should. And I'm not sure how well he knows her. At the same time, I'm pretty sure that's why other motherfuckers don't jump for her defense, because she might just straight up be a bitch. It seems like it. And, I guess I can get you so far if you're fucking a judge on American Idol. But I love how, he tried to defend her and say, that all these black women are hating on her and then we should unify, which is true. But at the same time, if there's a bitch in the room, kick that bitch out, which, if we're going to give any shout outs to any bitch, it should be the Cardi B, rocking that little pixie cut, looking real cute, real voluptuous. And I love her shout out to God and her definite fucking dig at Nicki Minaj's bitch ass when she had said, you can't buy this kind of fame. You can buy a marketing team, you can buy the best production, you can buy writers, buy clothes, but you can't buy people loving you. And that's, I think, the most coldest, truest shit I ever come out that bitch's mouth. That's true. You can buy all these things to hopefully build yourself up, but you can't buy people loving you. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not she, won notoriety from being an unashamed woman in her ploys and her journeys. I mean, fuck, possibly, right? But there's no doubt people love her ass for being real, being true, and being unapologetic about it. Mind you, people can then start defending Amber Rose's bitch ass, but no. That's a totally different topic. She is just real in her own regard, and she owns up to shit. There's just something that I love so much about her. It ain't even a thing about her being Latina by any means, but it, again, it's another connecting dot that just makes this little zodiac sign shit in the sky make more sense. So again, shout out to her. But speaking though of motherfuckers being at the VMAs, I cracked my ass up when I saw Madonna's ass. God bless her, still trying to be young, still trying to fit in, wearing all this weird Gypsy Erykah Badu shit to make herself stand out. But this bitch, who I don't want to say, I hope she's not at the end of her rope, but definitely as far as my attention for her goes, she was supposed to give a shout out and definitely give a moment of RIP for Mr. Aretha Franklin, which I'm sure y'all heard about. I'm sure you've seen all the news coverages. They were so quick to jump on it. It was so crazy. They're waiting for this bitch to kick the bucket, especially after they made the announcement that she had cancer. And I'm glad that she was able to get the support and love from fans that, might not have heard from her in a long time. That, finally get some recognition. And really quickly, I love so much. And I know I made reference to it last week, but definitely all the R.E.S.P.i.C to this woman, because not only from her church days to still going on strong and doing her thing, that bitch was a Harriet Tubman, of some soul. But I laughed at Madonna, who's supposed to give a quick little tidbit about it, made this fucking speech that got a lot of backlash because she made it all about her struggle. And the only bit that connected her to fucking Aretha Franklin was the fact that she did a cover of that bitch's song and got some notoriety out of it. Again, you can call it cultural appropriation or whatnot, but she made it about her as she was supposed to be given a fucking award to something Cabela, the bitch who did the Havana song, which I can't stand her either. They've been trying to push her and pump her out for fucking years, and all of a sudden she has a fucking single with Slim Thug or Young Thug, whatever the fuck that bifucker's name was, and yeah, she finally hit. I guess she got an award for it. This bitch was presenting it. I don't know what triggered her to I don't know if the MTV asked her to give a quick little anecdote about Aretha Franklin. And again, you tell someone, hey, fill in some time. If they're reaching something out of their ass, you got to believe it's going to be narcissistic, you know? Especially for someone who's still trying to stay relevant. What the fuck was she doing at the award show? She hasn't had a record in a few years. What the fuck was she doing there? Just to present a goddamn award. You got to please believe she was looking for whatever inch possible, you know what I'm saying, to have her own little, to be on her own little soapbox and to, you know what I'm saying, scream me too. Which I'm going to get into in just a few seconds, but I laughed so much that, you know, that she took that left turn, real hard left motherfucking turn. And it should have been a moment to give a shout out to, again, the Queen of Soul. This bitch can be called the Queen of Pop, but I mean, really, what the fuck does that mean? Honestly. And especially because it's been passed around so much and diluted. I mean, I don't know. To my mind, I think to myself when she kissed Britney and Christina and all the Illuminati conspiracy theories of that being the passing of the torch, you know, for the next queen or what have you. But whatever. In the topic of deaths, because Aretha Franklin definitely started the downpour of a lot of other people that passed. And I know I talked about it last week, but a recent one. Shouts out to my dude who was a co-founder of the Ghetto Boys, motherfucking DJ Reddy Red, who died of a heart attack at the age of 53 this past Friday. And dude was, I can't lie, I didn't know too much about him. I didn't know really much other than the fucking midget from the Ghetto Boys, and even then, not giving him justice, and he passed not too long ago either. But it was sad, you know, it's sad just that, you know, to have a loss, someone that was definitely one of the OGs in Texas. They were the headlining group from record label Rap-A-Lot Records, which gave Estevez the Dude and a bunch of other I'm pretty sure Scarface and other classics that I'm not doing justice to right now. But again, I wanted to give a motherfucking shout out. And definitely peace and regards and hopes that he's doing well. Because outside the realm of hip-hop, dude who has been in the game, I want to say, was it the late 70s? I'm not too sure. Not to throw them in the regard of washed upness or just kind of long and forgotten. But the same dude who he was the host of The Styles, The Rich and Famous, Up Close and Personal with Robin Leach. I don't know if you remember that line from fucking Biggie. But this dude died at 76. Luckily, he died peacefully at home with family. And it was weird to see these, you know, just see these deaths go about. And mind you, from all different spheres and ranges of life and deaths happen every fucking day, sometimes every second. And all we can really do is kind of give a moment of silence for all that while my baby screams in the background. But with that being said and done, now I did want to mention another thing that kind of came up this past week. Not kind of, it did. And it just took a while for it to actually come to, I don't want to say fruition, but to fully surface itself. And I'm sure y'all motherfuckers heard about the Me Too movement. Hashtag METOO. Me too. You know, and it caused a lot of motherfuckers to bandwagon, as well as hopefully bring light to, you know, the fucked up shit that happens in Hollywood. For better, for worse, for male or female. You know, a lot of people that are in power have so much influence, have so much, again, power, that, they can manipulate and they can make things happen. And the biggest example was, Harvey Weinstein, him being, and I didn't even think the Weinstein Company was that big of an outlet. Again, it unfortunately housed some of my favorite directors like Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, who I know Tarantino's sus, as it is, and being not only into foot shit, but just him looking the way he does. But who can judge a man by the fucking looks? A lot of shit came out. A lot of people, were hurt. And as I mentioned before, a lot of bitches just sucked a dick and, regretted it afterwards. How many of y'all can say that y'all would have done something, fuck something, lick something? They've been like, oh, fuck, you know what? Maybe I should have done that something, maybe, But if, ifs were fifths, then motherfuckers would all be drunk and we probably already forgot about it. You know what I'm saying? The beauty of a short attention span. Well, one of the main bitches, headliners, accusers, was this woman by the name of Asia some shit. What the fuck's her name? Asia Argento. I don't know if she's Italian or she's something foreign. And this bitch has been in the game for a long time. She herself had admitted to having consensual sex with Mr. Harvey Weinstein and then saying that she regretted it, but that she also did it because out of fear that it would anger him. And again, you can lose so much over angering somebody. Something so small can let off something big off someone else, and it becomes a clusterfuck of shish kebab of fuckery. Well, this bitch got accused of Me Tooing herself. And again, I'm pretty sure y'all heard about this, but a Mr. Jimmy Bennett, I don't know where the fuck he's from, what he's done. He looks like just some noob. Well, they had co-starred in a movie back when he was a kid. So I'm guessing they kept the relationship up, or they talked, hung out. And then there was a picture that surfaced of them in a bed, probably just got done fucking because she has that I got some good dick face. I wouldn't think it would have come from this kid, but she had that face in this selfie where you can clearly tell that they're naked. And she's not a bad looking broad. She definitely looks sexy in that fucking picture, but again, it could have been that I just had sex vibe that, made her look sexy. But she had sex with the kid when he was 17. Apparently, and this is the part that I didn't fucking know. I didn't know this bitch was going out with Anthony Bourdain. Bourdain, who recently committed suicide not too long ago, or they're claiming this suicide. I mean, I don't know what they got the final regards of, he OD'd on some shit or what. But this guy, famous in his own right, foodie, extravagandor, definitely a TV personality and author. And I mean, people, they loved him. They, swear by him, and he was, well loved and liked. Well, apparently, and I didn't realize this. I don't know. See, actually, this is another thing I'm curious about. Did he know that she was fucking around? Because one of the things that she had threw it out there, she'd accused that Bennett was using her to extort money out of her boyfriend, again, then late Anthony Bourdain, because he knew that Bourdain, again, had all this notoriety, and apparently Anthony was afraid of possible negative publicity from all this shit, so that's what allowed them to pay him off. I don't know how many hundreds. I guess he wanted $3 million, because of course you're gonna shoot for the jugular, and he settled for a couple $100,000. Still not bad. I mean, shit, you got laid, and I guess that's a stigma, and that's the difficult part to kind of comprehend or understand, because we hear about women being taken advantage of men being the preyer upon and whatnot. But again, don't forget the fact that bitches get off too, and where do we get off to, make such allegations and accusations and, siding with any particular sex? You know what I'm saying? In fact, they had sex and, hey, hope you enjoyed yourself. Hopefully it wasn't too fucking awkward. She then, after, again, denying shit, to then later, admitting the shit, saying that it was awkward and that he was just a horny kid that jumped her. And that in itself pisses me off, because you're relying and you're riding the wave of stereotypes. Of course, yeah, kids are young and they're horny. Yeah, they do dumb shit. No doubt about that. But then you're saying that you weren't put in a situation to where it would allow for that. And you being so much his senior, you can't say this motherfucker wasn't being to the utmost respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure she taught him how to lick and how to dick. Like, I mean, who knows, right? He might have been raped by an uncle. But I'm just saying, like, there's so much that she could have been of influence. And again, forming and shaping his mind. And then, because, you know, people love to dig up shit. I then saw some tweet or some IG post of her saying that the happiest day of her life was being able to reunite with him again. And who knows if they were kindred spirits? Who knows if it was just a couple flames of fucks? Who knows if she just needs young dick every now and again to revitalize her, to rejuvenate her? She might be a vampire of sorts. You know, she sucks the souls out of young bulls' dicks, and, you know, it gives her, makes her live another 20 years. Who the fuck knows, right? And who knows what kind of dark demons Anthony Bourdain must have had along with this kind of relationship. Because think about it, if he took his own life, he couldn't take living, right? I would think, unless it was some kind of insider job. And I'm not trying to get all conspiracy theory this time of the day in the game, but it makes you think. And this is definitely going to be a backlash for the Me Too movement, because now the people who are accusing are now no longer credible. And we already know about Weinstein getting off on some of the charges because the text messages these dumb bitches would send, you know, getting all googly-eyed and forgiving and you know, just being the victims that they are. But unfortunately, leaving a fucking breadcrumbs, paper trail, digital shits of sorts that, you know, can decriminalize what their accusations were. So in this same essence, like, does it take her credibility away? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't take away from the hurt that she felt when she was being used, but then, again, she was using herself. Whether or not we can say, oh, well, this is how society works and how, you know, this domino effect come from her being abused, so now she's abusing. Like, okay, yeah, very true. But at the same fucking time, that doesn't stop her from doing what she did. At the same time, the views that other people are going to see this as. There's so many different angles to look at it by, and it all equals the same event, but we could feel some sort of way about it. Again, I'm just, you know, I'm so biased because, you know, especially like recently, and this happens a lot more often than we kind of keep count of, but like, for example, teachers. And it trips me out that it's a mid to late 20s, beautiful fucking teacher, maybe married, maybe not, and she's fucking around with some 13-year-old that she pays a phone bill for and gives a motherfucker rides to school on. Like, who's to say how we connect with someone and how we become embodied by them? Because it's funny that, like, when I've loved and when I've fallen, and I'm talking about literal, metaphorical, spiritual fallen in love, I become infatuated. I become so smitten. It's disgusting. So much where I don't ever want to be in that state of vulnerability ever again. I'm sure it's made me fucking jaded, and unfortunately it's led, you know, for me to act a certain way currently, because I've just, as much as I'm vulnerable, as much as I'm open, as much as I'm honest, at the same time, they're just bits of me that I wouldn't ever want to fucking give again. So it does scare me that when you do meet a personality that becomes so engulfing or such a strong magnet to your magnet, or, you know, you can drown, you can literally drown in love. And shit, if you drink enough alcohol, I'm sure you're gonna get drunk. So either you get drunk and do stupid shit, or you drown and die. Either which way, it doesn't make for any more better of a night after whatever. I'm rhyming and trying to get too deep here, but yeah. So again, who's to say how their connection was and what that was? And what I was trying to say more about me being biased is that, you know, I would have loved to have had a situation where the hot fucking math teacher wanted to fucking blow me, give me good grades, and then got me some shoes. Like, what? Why? How? You know? Please, where the fuck can I sign up at? Shit, can she pay for my Xbox prescription? You know what I'm saying? Can I get a new game? You know what I'm saying? Can I get some hot Cheetos with cheese on anything? Right? You know, we're such hoes that, you know, we can be so biased, and then neglect the fact that, besides the hoorahs and the kudos of getting things, is that it does shape your mind. It does make you believe that things are a certain way. And again, as the theme of the fucking show today, there's such a domino effect that it leads to, by, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to understand where and what that can lead to. Truly, we don't know how that can shape the minds and what else, again, it's going to push us through. And I guess in this quick little segue, Ben Affleck, decided to go into rehab, which I guess was thanks to his ex-baby mama, Jennifer Garner. She had started some kind of like intervention for him, and I'm guessing it's alcohol. They didn't really mention anything about hard drugs, but alcohol is real easy to, to get lost into, because it's accepted, in culture. You can have a beer at fucking Disneyland, you know what I'm saying? So, after 1 to 2 to so many, you're off your fucking rocker. And I say that who knows what he's facing, what he's dealing with, that, leads him to find, assurance in it, or to have to always be there, and I'm pretty sure, just me being an asshole, I'd imagine Jennifer Garner doesn't want them child support checks to stop from coming in, so she needs this nigga to keep working. You can't be getting drunk, losing yourself in pity. Motherfucker, get back to work. I love you. Get back to work. I need money. Who knows all that influences her. But I am hopeful that, that they loved each other. He just, he fucked around. She didn't want to be the dumb bitch to stay with him. So, they departed. But it'd be beautiful if, they were to find each other again in all this mess. And hopefully he doesn't get lost in it. It's not like I'm waiting for a fucking Daredevil reboot with him in that bitch. No, not at all. It's not like I give a fuck about the state of Batman, because I know they're going to pick someone else and he was too chicken. There's just so many things. And I know, or I don't know personally, not yet. I'm going to get there hopefully with it one day. But I can imagine, though, that the state of fame and constant surveillance, that can't be healthy for anybody. I mean, shit, me having to stay afloat and not say fuck it to this world and the mundane shit that I have to do to keep this shit afloat, even though that's still not enough to keep going. I enjoy my bit of weed. You know what I'm saying? It calms me the fuck down. It lets me hopefully not be so fucking selfish and do what I gotta do. It also sometimes can misguide me because I'm so lost in my own shit. I'm not looking at God. I hope that's not the case. I hope any time that we get lost into something, the universe takes us to the place that we need to be, hopefully leads us, guides us, nurtures us, and allows us to be better. Because I feel like, if anything, if there should be anything that we take from all the fuck shit, is that I don't know. But I want it to be something good. I do. And that's all we can really hope for, right?
I was lying to my parents. I was telling them I was going to be a lawyer, and they're very disappointed because they wanted me to be a doctor. You guys are like, why didn't you just tell them that you wanted to be a doctor? It's a lie anyway. And I'm like, well, it has to be believable. If I told them I want to be a doctor, they'd be like, bullshit. If I say lawyer, they're like, oh, okay, that's something. Because there's a strict hierarchy. It's doctor, engineer, lawyer, hundreds of jobs, ISIS, then comedian.
But ain't your fucking business. So let's go into the topic of business. I don't know if y'all see this, if y'all heard this last week, but Kroger, who, at least in my neck of the woods of Arizona, they go by Fry's. I think they bought out Smith's. I think like in Georgia where they came from, I think it's called Kroger. That's the restaurant. Well, apparently they're getting done with the single-use plastic bags that you kind of get, the ones you probably use for your restroom trash or taking as a lunch bag, what have you. Anyways, they're canceling this shit out apparently by 2025. Now, I'm not too sure what it is, and maybe it's contracts, maybe they're obligated to use these shits or to buy these shits or to produce these things until then. But I laugh because it's definitely a good thing. All right, they're going to be economic friendly. Okay, they're not going to, but at the same time, motherfucker, you're going to inconvenience me. So either now I got to come with the motherfucking, bread box, or, you know what I'm saying? I got to buy a $10 reusable bag, which again pays for itself in the long run, supposedly, because I know they charge like 5 cents or some shit, 10 cents in California. But when I recently went to Chicago, shout out to Aldi's, they have some shit like that in place to where they don't sell or give paper bags. You can buy a reusable bag, but if not, then you have to haul that shit out to your car. And even then, the shopping cart, you got to put 25 cents in it. Mind you get that quarter back, but you need to have 25 cents. So, again, I'm not too sure. Obviously, it's going to be a money-saving thing. It's going to definitely be a plug to look economically friendly. But it was a blip in the news that caught my attention and might be affecting y'all soon. 7 more years or some shit. I'm not good at math. But someone, I guess, that is trying to sue Google. I don't know the fuck I correlated this shit together. But they're suing Google over location history. Apparently some kind of fiasco can affect millions. And this motherfucker, it makes me wish I could jump in that fucking bandwagon, because one thing that I can't stand, it's technology and its uses against us as I'm paying for the shit. Now, mind you, I guess I can understand if it's a supposed free social media site you own, it's creative IP, right? You own anything I fucking publish, because technically your format is what I pushed it on. So if y'all use it for something, fuck, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But I want some kickback from it, you know what I'm saying? At least. And one of the things, the main issue apparently, is that even when you turn off, because I'm the type, I turn off my location tracker, I turn off most cellular connections. So if you gon' get any information from me, you gon' get that shit once I'm at a Wi-Fi, because why the fuck should you use the data that I had to limit myself on, that I had to fucking pay for, instead you guys can use it to your advantage? Nigga, motherfucker, pay for our internet, which again, eventually that will happen. I think I heard Zuckerberg saying that shit, that he pays for internet in some parts of the country. I don't know, or the philanthropists, they want to do that. Because I figure, if anything, if everyone's connected, everyone's on the same network, how much more easier would it be to get the information that you want? The locations, the geographic studies, the demographics. All this information, mind you, although you might not give too many fucks about, they're learning you, learning how to sell you, how to use you, and of course make money off of you. Mind you, that's just the nature of the beast, and that's maybe what it is. But one of the fuck things about it, and again, and I'm assuming that they're using persons paid for data, is that even as he turns off his location tracker, which should be doing just that, you turn off the ability for them to track your locations, Google still stores that shit in its history, even though you haven't activated it. That's a fuck boy thing, because again, you're using this shit off of me, and it has to be stored some fucking way. Mind you, the device has to be saving it somehow, so you must be using my data against something that I'm paying for to use it against me for your fucking endeavors. Which, mind you, I understand you're in the business to do your thing, but don't fuck me in the process. If you're gonna fuck me, don't milk me. You know what I'm saying? Or I guess if you're fucking them, you might as well be milking them. And so that's going to, be something in the coming months or whatever. I don't know how the trial's going to work, or people jumping in on the bandwagon. But, I don't like being used. And I get something out the deal. You know what I'm saying? If we both going to fuck, all right, we both going to fuck. Hopefully both come. But when it's one wedding over the other, well, that shit ain't right. As fucked up as I try to introduce it, that's really all I have for the business side of things. Moving on to some science and tech, because technically that was, a little bit techy. I did want to mention, if y'all didn't notice, that scientists discovered that there's water on the ice's moon surface. And I always feel like we make these discoveries, especially like on Mars, but I guess the one caveat was they don't have nitrous dioxide, the shit that we breathe out, CO2, which again is what allow for there to be growth and shit to grow. I'm not a scientist, but when I saw this though, this just makes me wonder, like, and I'm not too sure how our ozone layer affects others, but I am curious, are we just getting hotter in general, that now this, what appeared to be ice, or what we view it as ice, or what we assume is ice, is now liquidating itself to become water? Like, it makes me wonder if there's something else more stronger about that. Mind you, I don't understand the concept of when planet has so many moons or so many suns. we only seem to think about the one main fucking sun that wakes us up in the goddamn morning. Like, there's so much more that comes to it. Again, I found it interesting. I couldn't begin to ramble on too long about that, but I did want to throw that out there. And I guess to caveat on top of it, NASA's actually trying to launch a laser into space. They're saying that they might get it out by next month, but it's in order to track the Earth's melting ice caps. And again, that's going to be very scary, because if these shits melt, again, that bitch turns into water, and we can drown the fucking lands, because we're on a planet that is majority water. So I can imagine the imbalance of there being more fucking water, which is why I talked a few episodes back, and y'all can do your Googles. They want to bring back motherfucking Willie Madness, because I guess they're thinking that the weight is going to push shit down to where it lifts the heat up. Maybe, I don't know. It's where, again, it's going to keep, polar caps from melting. And one of the fuck things that recently had come up, some part near Greenland, which apparently they called the last ice area. They're saying that the once was the, unmeltable thickest piece of ice in all the planet is now actually cracking. That should be worrisome. Again, I don't know too much to sound convicting or conflicted enough for me to portray, the importance of this. But if what we thought was the strongest, coldest part of the world now breaking, if not, indirectly melting from all the other fucking polar caps that are melting, this is definitely going to cause an imbalance. Just how, too much of anything, even if it's a good thing, is too much. Imagine what it fucks us into. That's kind of scary. And the thing is, it maybe, I don't know, hopefully with this laser pointer thing that we're going to use to figure shit out, I'm wondering, are we going to have a timer on this shit? Like, are we going to go closer to however fucking minutes to midnight to where we're on some doomsday shit? Will we, in fact, be able to fucking escape by Mars by the time this shit's over and done with? That makes me wonder if we're going to see this within our lifetime. I would imagine so. I would hope not. But can you imagine what's going to happen when the Earth drowns? I don't know if that's scary to you. I don't know if you give a fuck. Maybe you might be a good swimmer. And I heard about this one bitch who recently, I think she got kicked out of, I don't know if I read some kind of mock article about she being a vegan and they kicked her the fuck off the boat, or she just fell off a cruise ship or something. Either which way, it's fucked up and funny. And she legit had to be, I don't know if it was a full week or was it a few days, but just constantly swimming. Think about it. You fall asleep, you're gonna drown. You go and fucking goodbye. She stayed up. She kept kicking, until she got rescued. But can you imagine, like, that can only go on for so long, Eventually the body gives out, just like with anything. That's why we perish. That's why we're perishable items. And so I thought that was gnarly in itself. I mean, if you want to get into some news, health, information, I guess, this is a news podcast of sorts. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my job. But moving on to that, again, just not knowing when's going to be enough. We technically don't know what is enough or what is a proper balance. And you could bitch all day about, our diets having to have, a certain pyramid of shits. And we know we got the fucking pyramid all fucking ass backwards. And one of the things that really tripped me out, because I believe, I'm not sure if this came from a Harvard fucker or if the next story I wanted to mention did, but they're trying to say that low-carb diets are linked to early death. And apparently to this fucking medical study, and I'll put the links below so y'all can read this shit yourself, or y'all can do your Googles and just type that in, low-carb diet linked to early death. It's saying that because it's carbs, that got us into, the ungodly mess of being fucking fat, that, I don't know. It didn't make any fucking sense. Because again, if having high carb diets are what fucking got us fat to the point of dying, then can you imagine not having it at all? I don't see how that's going to affect us, unless again we're just causing imbalance of shit. But apparently, and as you can see in the article, once you read into it, they pretty much get to the point to where they're saying everything within moderation. Well, no fucking shit. Everything should be moderated. We shouldn't have too much of fucking bad things, right? Even too much water. Motherfucker, you drown, right? Just got done talking about polar cap. So I thought it was ridiculous, the fact they even had to be a fucking story. But again, they say, with that moderation, and mind you, this is just speculation, that apparently you can get 4 more years off the top. Okay, well, that's nice. That's real nice. But if we're gonna fucking drown to death, I don't know how that means shit. But then again, too many carbs, nigga, you might get tired of that swimming once everything does melt. So I don't know, take that for what you fucking will. But the next story, though, it did come from Harvard Professor Cuck that's claiming that coconut oil is pure poison. And mind you, this is where people start getting into the topic of trans fats and how butter, you know what I'm saying, is killing us. And yes, that can cause high cholesterol. But again, depending on what you're eating, how you're eating it, how you're disposing it, or your functions, or you're being motivated, or you move and exercise, all that shit, that's how you burn things. So I can't get too mad at the fact that, I could eat poorly, sit in my ass, and not wonder how I'm not fucking losing weight. Like, that makes perfect fucking sense. But again, it just like avocado, sometimes that good fat, that could take you a long way. You would hope. But again, in that same regard of some more real, faux real shit, I do want to end off with saying, well, actually, no, I got two more things I want to do you Googles, again, because I'm going to put the article on here. Luckily, none of the shits I get, the kids are in this, but 32 major children medications are actually being recalled due to microbial contamination. So again, I don't know if this is another Kellogg's incident where some guy got fucking drunk and peed all over all the fucking schmacks, which leaked into the Cheerios, which contamination. Yeah, look out for that, because honestly, one of the things that pisses me off, and mind you, I ain't no damn scientist, although I wish I did know it so I could make this shit myself and have to pay high dollar for it. But if you got kids and you try to buy anything that's made for kids, because we do anything for our kids, they fucking milk you, they'll gyp you, and they'll charge you a bit more. I hope that it's not the same shit that I'm ingesting. I really do hope that it's specially manufactured for them. But again, because it could be so expensive, be aware of what you're purchasing. Be aware of what you put in your baby's body. And I pray that they can be strong in these days of sickness and shits that appear like fucking flus, and niggas had to get shits amputated. Like, that shit's scary. And it's fucked up. So again, be cautious. And to my people out there in Kalamazoo, which is a county up in Michigan, y'all motherfuckers got the West Nile virus. So y'all better watch out for birds, because they're saying that birds contract that shit. And it trips me out, because don't fucking birds migrate south for the winter? That's coming up. It's still hot as fuck here in Arizona. Never ever going under 100 degrees, even when it's fucking midnight and you figure the streets would have cooled themselves. So I'm scared when that shit goes to the south and then those motherfuckers go west. I mean, no offense to because I know the majority of my fan base apparently is out Midwest. I don't want y'all to die out. I need y'all. Y'all listen to me. So, y'all be cautious. Be safe. Be of love. And I'm going to wrap this bitch up. I would love to talk to you about video games, but I think I already talked about all the latest shits that were released. Actually, no, maybe might have not have. All right. Quick little tidbit, and I guess I would have brought this up during the tech announcements of things, even though it wasn't really much tech. There's a few sciencey things, but anyways, y'all were listening. I appreciate if y'all fuck with me. If you is a Jew but still want to get all that you can from what it is that you do, know that Xbox right now, if you have the Xbox Live, they currently have for a free game for the 360, which is also comparable on the Xbox One. They got some Mickey Mouse Epic Adventure thing, kind of a slow platformer, but it ain't too bad for the kids. Hopefully you get some fun out of it. Unfortunately, it's only one player, but whatever, teach the motherfucker to take turns. For the grown-ups, they have a game called For Honor, which you either play a samurai, a Viking, or a knight, and you fucking duke it out, kind of a la Dark Souls kind of shit. I got my ass whooped in, or actually no, I couldn't stand on the fuck. I had the kids watching, I couldn't fucking play it. And I think I had to download some other shit, some app just to skip sign in. I can't stand when they do shit like that, but whatevs. They had the shit on there. I'm not too sure if it was too late to get the earlier things, but those are definitely active right now that you can download. I know that, what was it for the PS4 that's still active right now? That Mafia 3, which has a good story because you're playing the brother fresh off of Vietnam War into some mafioso stuff. And I forget what else that was also translated on the Vita. PS3 has Serious Sam 3, which I still have not had the chance yet to play it, but I remember back in the OG Xbox days, that shit was mad fun. I remember my uncle had that. It was just a first-person shooter where just a bunch of nonsense, silliness, definitely a lot of pointless deaths, so be careful if you got little ones that are trying to watch that shit. And I guess, it's funny that I bring it to... I want to end off with love. I'm bringing all these violent video games. If ever you need an outlet to get your shit out, you do that. The family, the home should not be where you let your venom out at. You let that shit out elsewhere. When I worked from home, it was so difficult because I didn't go nowhere. I wasn't able to see my friends really, you know what I'm saying? I was forced into this adulthood and this relationship where I didn't have my escape to let my shit out. Not to say you gotta go fuck a bunch of bitches to get shit out of your system. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But, if you don't have that freedom and you don't have that outlet, unfortunately, the only place you're gonna let off that steam, that sperm, that liquid bit of ignorance and hurtfulness, I call it venom, is gonna be at home. And I hope that you don't do that there. Don't shit where you eat. You know what I'm talking about? Hopefully you can be of goodness. Hopefully, you can strive for righteousness. And hopefully, if ever you want to get at me, whether to talk shit or just to have a conversation, know that I am here. Besides there being a 1-800 suicide hotline, which y'all can do your Googles on. I don't fucking know. I think they made a song out of it. You can always reach me online on most social medias at SoulPapo. Again, that's SoulPapo. On everything from Snapchat to the Twitters. I have a few Twitters to IG, Tumblr. You know what I'm saying? You can just put SoulPapo at Gmail. Fucking email me without having to go through the social media bullshit. What have you. Whatever. Do that. And if ever you want to become a producer of the show, then by all means go to www.patreon.com/SoulPapo. You know what I'm saying? Kick up $1. You know what I'm saying? Help me keep the IC on so I can get some insurance on this bitch. I don't know. There's so many things to do. Don't think that's what I want from you. But I would like to hear from you, though. I really, really would. And I'm hoping, again, that you can do all that you can and more. Again, God bless you. Motherfuckers, I can't.
I'm sorry. It's very rude to heckle comedians.
Oh, that wasn't a heckle. I just kind of woohooed for you.
Well, see, that's a common misconception. Heckling doesn't have to be negative.
So if I was like, oh my God, you're amazing in bed, that would be a heckle?
Yeah, and now you're getting more laughs than me, and I don't like that. You want to come up and do my job? Let's talk about... So are you from out of town, ma'am?
Chicago.
Ooh, Windy City. And what brings you to New York?
Here to see someone?
And, have you seen him or her? I mean, I don't know what your deal is, but...
Yeah, I've seen him.
Oh, shit, son, I came again. I don't know how many times. Y'all got it with you. Adios. Time won't wait for no one. Tick tock tick, lickety split, hella quiet on the way. The loud up in the spliff, with courage in my lungs. I tend to talk about my shit. Marijuana affects the brain. Fucking forgot what I was saying. So savage raw. The flesh wants straws, and if you don't give it up, I'm gonna bite, I'm gonna nah, don't take it off. Keep them panties on, I wanna rip them off, then bury my gun with the warmth of your tongue. I wanna stay inside until your will is numb, then put you through hell, then make you fall in love, and after build you up, I'll crush your spirit, then degrade you while you dumb. My Hello Kitty pocket pussy fuck. You're an object, can't you tell that I don't give a fuck? Dick, you deal with the chum that make you swallow up the cum, lick it all up. Don't you live a dry, bitch, don't you leave a crumb. And afterwards I need you to say, oh num 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 num. Sometimes I wonder what made me this way. Either you're a demon or you get chased.